I really want to thank you guys personally for coming out, being here on your Saturday, because I almost didn't make it. Not because I wanted to lay in my bed, I love my bed, but not because I wanted to sleep in, not because of anything that happened even today. It was something that started a while back. You see, when I first got the news that I was going to be a TEDx speaker, I was super, super excited. Thank you very much. And then a couple days, they released the list of all the speakers. And I was like, great, I get to see who's going to be on this journey with me. It's going to be so fun. And I opened up the document, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. And first, I had to check my hair, make sure that I had looked good in my headshot. I looked good, right? Okay, cool. So I was like, yeah, who's this? Oh, I know him. I know her. Oh, awesome. Yay, what are they talking about? Oh my gosh, their titles look so cool. And then I felt it. It was that first stroke of panic. Their titles look so cool. Oh my gosh. Who are these people anyway? Who's this lady? Oh my gosh. Obviously she's a professional. And this guy, he looks like he's been doing TEDx talks from before I was born. Oh my gosh. And then there's Ronald Forbes. Ronald Forbes? Oh my gosh. Now don't get me wrong, Ronald is my boy, but he's a 3-time Olympian. How am I supposed to compete with that? Oh, I'm just a life coach. People still don't even know what a life coach is. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, what am I gonna talk about? How am I gonna do this? That's just a glimpse of how easy it is for a scary story to sneak into your mind. So, thankfully, I am not here to race Ronald today. I am here to talk to you about scary stories. The stories that prevent you from showing up. And I want to share a little bit of my story with you. But first, I'm going to have to tell you about me. If you were to do a functional MRI of my brain, it would look like this. Yeah. My mind is a really scary place, and never go there alone. Don't anyone ever go there alone. So, as a kid, I was a big scaredy cat, and I had a vivid imagination. My parents are back there. Hi, parents. They can attest to this, because as a little kid, like a toddler, I would do really weird stuff like just look into the darkness and just be like, freak my mother out. She was like, what is wrong with you? As a teenager, I would lay in my bed consoling myself. And can you imagine being that 80s, 90s kid that grows up with Jaws and arachnophobia and I know what you did last summer. I would just lay there in my bed like, it's okay, you're all right. Don't worry about the spider invasion that's gonna happen under the bed. And whatever you do, don't think about oh my gosh, too late, too late. Yeah, and then there was the sharks in the swimming pool, and the anacondas in the bathtub, and the serial killers lurking behind every closed door. Yeah, I had mastered the art of creating danger where none existed. And as a grown-up, it didn't just go away. I just evolved my stories. I created stories about who I was and who I wasn't based on society, not what I could do, not what I wanted to do, just what everybody else thought. And I think we all have the story of who we are and who we're not. And for me, my story that kept coming up over and over again was that I wasn't enough. And it's really weird because I have done a lot of things in my life, but at various points, I never felt like it was enough. And I think we can all relate to the not enough story, right? Like, at some point, you don't feel tall enough, or smart enough, or fast enough, or pretty enough, or funny enough. Yeah, we all have that at some point. And here's the thing, our stories dictate how we show up in the world, and how we don't show up in the world. So I want you just to consider for a second what your scary story is. Just for a second and lock in, because I want to explain how stories work. Your mind is a really powerful machine, and it dictates how your reality is going to turn out. So if you imagine you insert your scary story in here, it's going to do its best to make it happen for you. And it's going to influence how you show up in the world, and more importantly, how you don't show up in the world. So my story that I wasn't enough had me thinking that anything I did was never enough. So I would just be doing more and more. I didn't want anyone to know my vulnerability, so I wasn't going to tell anybody that I felt like I wasn't enough, because that would make me look weak. And of course, I would never ask for help, because people would say I wasn't enough, and that would also make me look weak. So I was just going about my life, doing more, doing more, doing more. And the more I did, the less I took care of myself. I didn't eat right, I didn't sleep right, I didn't work out, I wasn't taking care of my health. And in my head, I was like, I'm doing everything I'm supposed to be doing to be happy. And in reality, I'm showing up this miserable, tired, resentful, angry person, wondering why I wasn't happy. And this wasn't just at work, this was everywhere in my life. When it came to my health, I was like, I'm gonna lose 5 pounds in 5 minutes. I wasn't slow, it wasn't slow and steady. It was, like, all right, hurry up and get this done. 30 minutes isn't enough, I need to do an hour. And by the end of the week, I would be totally exhausted, or I'd end up injuring myself. And the days that I was off, I'd be like, you see, that's not good enough, you should be working out, or just beat myself up. And in my relationships, I would go out of my way to make the other person happy so that we could have this happy relationship. And then I would get resentful because I'd feel like I was doing too much and they were taking me for granted. And I'd push them away, or eventually they'd leave, or whatever, right? That's its own craziness. But in my loneliness, I would sit there and be like, what more could I have done to make this relationship work? I didn't see any of what I was doing. I was just so busy doing, because I was terrified that if I stopped for just a minute, my whole world would come crashing down around me. And guess what? After enough 16-hour days of exhausting yourself, it does anyway. So my crash kind of showed up like this. I walked into my boss's office, and I was like, hey, Jonathan, yeah, I have this kind of aching, dull pain that's running from here to here, and it's been there for like 2 days, so I think I'm gonna go to the doctor, just letting you know. Jonathan is a good guy as far as bosses go, and I will never forget that day, because he just looked at me like he was dumbstruck. He was like, Chanda, are you okay? You look pale. Like, do you need me to take you to the hospital? And of course, me and my story were just like, no, boss man, you do your thing. I am good. I got this. I just need to leave like right now. And I went off. Do you think at any point I realized that this was all a result of my own doing and I was still doing it? Nope. I just did what any normal person would do. My own boss, allow me to work wherever I wanted in the world. So life coaching fit that mold for me. And I had been a business owner before, so I was really excited to be my own boss again. I could create whatever I wanted. I'm a creative person, so I hated the restriction of law. I was like, I want to be creative. I want to be free to do what I want to do, how I want to do it. Set my own rules, make my own hours, work in my pajamas. Yeah, baby, yeah. So it came time for me to launch out into this venture full time, and everything was coming together. I was a little bit scared of losing that lawyer salary, but I had a plan. My heart was definitely in the right place. I felt good about this choice I was making. And I had a mentor, I had a business coach, and I'd asked the universe to have my back. And most of all, I had a new lease on life. So there I was. And do I have any entrepreneurs out here? Yay, my people, yeah. Yeah, for those of you who aren't entrepreneurs or have never been one, entrepreneurship is the greatest test of your not good enough story. Yeah, she knows. So fast forward 8 months. And I'm doing all the things I'm supposed to be doing. I'm advertising, I'm posting, I'm doing free sessions for people to get them lured in, and I'm doing workshops, and I'm still not getting the results I want. So what's going on? And when the money's not coming, it gets really, really scary. So on the contrary, people are like, all the clients I did the sample sessions for, they're like, oh, Chanda, you're an amazing coach. You are just wonderful. My friends are rooting me along. And I'm like, if I am so great, then please pay me and put your money where your mouth is. Thank you. Here I was again, a great lawyer, supposedly a great coach, as I was being told. But there was still a gap in my reality. So obviously, it wasn't the job. I was showing up, I was doing what I was supposed to be doing, I was doing my best, I was doing everything I was told. But that's what I was doing, everything I was told. I had missed the point of this whole journey. I wasn't being me. And Winston Churchill has a really great quote on this. He says, sometimes your best isn't good enough. Sometimes you have to do what's required. And for me, what was required was to be myself. I wasn't showing up as myself. I was hiding behind my social media posts. I was, 1 foot in, 1 foot out, applying for jobs that I didn't even want. So I had to figure out how it was going to be me. And I had been playing it safe. And I don't do safe. I do scary. I do the scary thing. My greatness was in doing the scary thing. But how do you embrace scary when you're scared stupid? How do you show up great when you barely feel good enough? The answer came to me when I was bawling my eyes out in my pajamas at 3 o'clock on a random Thursday. And as I sat there in a heaped up, hot mess, I felt something change inside of me. I felt this voice come up out of the darkness. And it was like weird. It was kind of like Samuel L. Jackson and Will Smith put together, and it was really angry. It was like, no, 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 oh, hell no. You aren't going out like this like some little punk. You are going to get up and change your community and show people what it means to be a great coach. You can't really argue with that. So what did I need to change my story? It all came down to 3 things: faith, grace, and gratitude. And they weren't easy. I had to work on them, but they changed my entire existence. Let's start with faith. Faith is a trust-based word, and faith means you have to believe in something. Sometimes I had to trust that if I showed up as myself, people would accept me. And sometimes I still doubted that. Even though I'm awesome, I just didn't know it at the time, I had to trust it. But when I didn't, I needed grace. I needed to be able to forgive myself, because some days I punked out, some days I got scared, and sometimes life happens, you get sick, whatever. I needed a tool that was going to allow me to release that burden and not beat myself up so that I could move forward. But some days you still get stuck in your story. And those days, the only thing that helped me was gratitude. I had to stop worrying about what I didn't have and just trust I had enough. I had to be grateful for what I had, because I always had everything I needed, and my not enough was better than what some people even had. So here's the other really cool thing about gratitude. It's going to allow you to really live your life. Because if you just rush off to the next thing and don't take a moment to appreciate where you are, the journey that you came on, then you're going to find a way to doubt the integrity of your journey and where you are. You're going to find a new version of that same old story. Yeah, I made a major career change, but it was no big deal. When yes, it was a huge, big, scary deal, and you can be proud of that. So once I let go of my story and I allowed myself to just be myself, the floodgates opened. I found a place I loved working, people I loved working with, and clients that were happy to pay me. You see, the other really cool thing, and I still can't get over it sometimes, is when I feel like showing up and I'm just like, meh, I really don't want to give my best today. The universe will send me a reminder, and it will be like, someone will just pop up and be like, I saw what you did on social media the other day, and you really inspired me to change a part of my life. The old me would have cringed and been like, oh my gosh, now I'm responsible for you and your happiness. But from this new story, I can just take pleasure in knowing that I helped somebody else by just being myself. You see, when you give yourself permission to rewrite your story and take a bridge to a new destination and to see and have a new reality, you give others permission to do the same. So if I leave you with this, it's don't fear the gap in your reality, just mind it. Thank you very much.